Hello everyone, welcome to Torre del Hogar. This time we are going to do the repair or rather the maintenance of a hairdryer, whether it is one of these mid-high range, whether Italian, American or national. They are the ones that have a motor with coals. There are several brands. There are even budget brands like Conair that also have a coal-fired engine. There is the Babyliss, which are the most famous, and well, this video is going to be quite long, not to say, well, not very long, 9 minutes, but it's for you to see step by step what I know has to do in the dismantling and in the maintenance. From the beginning I tell you the flaw in theory that they have, which is not a failure, it is a maintenance. It is that when it goes out, it squeaks, that is, you hear a little squeal when it comes to turning it off, many times when it comes to turn it on too, and it takes time to take off, so that's just engine maintenance. Axles have to be lubricated, but if you want to give it a little better maintenance, then I invite you to watch the video. Remember that you like our content, you can like it, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't done, and well, as we can see, we are already removing the 2 screws that are Phillips or cross point. We remove the 2 stamps that we have sides, because if not, it will not let us disassemble more. Here, as we can see, it is not very dirty because this dryer, they are from a beauty salon, so they give them maintenance often. That is, let's say every 3-4 months. They give them maintenance so that the devices are always in optimal conditions, more, and they do not have any problem of it failing them when they are using it and everything. That type of question reminds us that all appliances, maintenance is always going to be that they extend their useful life. Here we already remove what is the nut of the fan, extractor or the turbine. As you know it, it seems we need a 516 screwdriver. We remove it. We are going to clean it, as I say. It's not so dirty, but I'm going to simulate how it was very dirty. It also goes if you see that it's too dirty, then we would have to put it in a bucket with water or with isopropyl alcohol, depending on how dirty it is, if it's very, very dirty, if with soap and water, and then we put them to dry so that they are 100%. Here they're not so dirty, so there is no point in wetting them and all those kinds of issues and more, because it is urgent for the client. So we are going to give them a little pass with the brush. Where it is dirtier we use isopropyl alcohol. We are going to remove these 2 screws. These 2 screws are the ones that hold the base of the motor so that it does not come out. Here as you can see, it is a winding motor, it is not a magnetic motor like the ones that come with the low end. We are going to clean everything little by little. The motor, since we remove the cover because it comes out quite easy, it comes up or towards you so that you take into account that you are not going to flip it over if you can't drop it, and you can desolder a cable. Now we are going to remove what is the resistances. The resistance is made up of 2 resistances, which is the high and the low, one thicker than the other. We are going to clean what is this part, which is, let's say, the dirtiest. And now we are going to remove this protector, because if the protector heats up, the red hot resistance doesn't melt these plastics. Well, these plastics themselves are a little bit resistant to heat, not much, but something. What makes them stop or all the help is that little plate that looks round or semi-round and split. That is a plate. From side, like those plates isolate the heat quite a lot, so you can't remove it for anything at all. If it breaks, buy a thin plate so that it is flexible and you don't have that problem, because you can't put it without that if you're not going to do a dépapillé and a waste goes. Now we are going to make the motor to do a good maintenance. It is advisable to disassemble it, but if you do not want to put so much hand on it, then here what you have to do is put it to work a little bit or turn it yourself with your hand, because if you put it on to work, the resistance is going to heat up, and as there is no airflow, it may be that a sensor or a thermal fuse is damaged. Thermal fuse as you know it. Here we are going to use an abracle. The abracle gets in here when it is rotating. What does the abracle, or what is the function of the abracle? Because it is practically like a rectification of the collector. When the collector already has a lot of use and coals have already been changed, it comes to have, let's say, protrusions, which can make a spark a lot and heat up the engine a lot. We are going to level them with the abracle, and now we lubricate what is the shaft. That if you don't want to disassemble it, if you want to disassemble it, well, let's disconnect the carbons, which are 2, obviously, 1 on each side, and we're also going to remove what are the 2 screws that hold the shaft. The motor is the most damaged about the dryers, or what they have the most problem is with the hair itself. Here, as I say, it is clean because they do maintenance, but when they do not do maintenance, you take out cuffs of hair, a lot of lint, all that makes the dryer work. In a bad way, that is, a malfunction that goes out before it gets hot, too hot, even that it smells bad at the time that it is heating up, because it starts to burn the hair and all that kind of issues, since we are left with the two screws that hold the hair in place. Engine, we're going to remove the bridges. The bridges are these bases that hold the carbon, the bushings. Sorry, if my tongue gets the lock all of a sudden it's because I'm also editing several videos and well, my voice is a little tired. Here it is, don't drop what you want. They are these flat rounds that are also made of Bakelite. So all this is very important that you carry it. You cannot eliminate things if you lose them. All these pieces can be made or you can buy them. As you can see, well, here the stain that it brings there is because, let's say, it got dirty. What the bushing is. When the hub has no backlash, you can easily change it without any problem. What I do when the hub is already damaged, I change it to Valos. In these dryers you can tell maybe it's a lot of work for a dryer. But there are from dryers to dryers. There are dryers that cost you $10 and there are dryers that cost you $500. So there's the detail. For example, this dryer should cost about $200 or so, $150 to $200 or a little more depending on the models, because if there are some that are quite expensive we're going to proceed to assemble as we clean this whole part, all this part that we're cleaning we have to. Always lubricate with plenty of oil, whether it's high temperature or high speed, so that it doesn't become rubbery. Let's say fast. There it is. There I got stuck a little bit because the video went off my screen and I didn't even know what I was seeing, but well, now yes, let's. Finishing putting together. As I say, it was a bit of a long video, but we are already getting to the final part. Remember that if you like our content, then like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't done so. Remember to leave a comment or something you want. Just to. That you know that I already read you, and leave you a little heart, either on TikTok, that there is like easier to give this, respond or put little heart since YouTube and all that, then I don't know why, but then I get messages from 3 months ago, 4 months ago that I don't. I answered, and well, I say, if so much time has passed, why do I answer it? Right, I always try to answer, but it is always difficult for me. There are many comments that come here. Let's put the fan here. Something very important is that the fan is detached from the base more or -2 mm. If you leave it stuck completely, you're going to hear a noise, but very loud, so be very careful in that. Now we're going to assemble the cards too. They are cleaned and I did all that. I just cut that part. Let's put the covers on it. Yes. You did everything right. Your lids are going to close easily, and the first time, if you didn't do things right and there's a cable getting in the way, they're not going to close your lids. So be very careful with that, because if not, you're going to want to force the closure and you can cut a cable. Then you're going to get into a fight, because if you don't have a soldering iron, you're going to have to look for someone to weld you out. In other words, do things well and calmly and you won't have any problems. There he is. Since we put the two screws, as I say, they are cross screws or Phillips, however you know them. We're going to hit it only when you arrive. Why? Because it's plastic. So, if you hit it too hard or too hard, you're going to sweep them away and it's going to start opening on its own. So, you're going to have to put another thicker screw, or even what they do a lot technical, glue them together. I'm not a fan of gluing them. I prefer to make them an internal rope, and well, here it was a little detached. We give it a little bump and that's it closed. Let's put its labels aside and that's it. Look, without noise and without anything. I hope you liked it. And see you next time.